Volkswagen has taken its crafter van and given it the camper van treatment to create this absolute monster. It's called the Grand California, and much like its smaller sibling, it's designed to be effectively a home on wheels for those who want to go on adventures and go traveling. It's got everything you're probably going to want to have in a camper van, and we're going to show you some of those features now. But some of the other mechanical features, it's got a 2-litre TDI diesel engine, 177 horsepower. You can have Volkswagen's 4Motion all-wheel drive, as well as the automatic gearbox. And despite having all this space, it's still rated to tow up to 2,000 kilos. So what we're going to do now is we're going to give you a quick tour around the Volkswagen Grand California. I think you might be surprised by some of the cool features that are available inside this camper. As you can see, Grand California also has a built-in satellite dish. Now, this one doesn't have the satellite tuner, but if you do have a satellite tuner, you can install that inside and then have satellite TV wherever you're going to be staying. Also, they come with this quite useful and generously sized awning that you can manually unfurl. Comes out to around about here. It's got 2 support arms, and you can set up your table and chairs that usefully fit into the back doors. You can have them just here as well. Very handy. Now, one other feature around the front of the car which you may have noticed is this. It's the solar panel fitted into the top of the roof. All it does is it basically works there. You don't have to do anything with it, and it will use the sun's rays to help keep the onboard batteries topped up. As well as that, the Grand California also comes with some useful driver assistance systems like cruise control and lane keep assist. Now, one of the things that's really nice about the Grand California is that because it's based on a crafter, you sit very high up in it. First of all, you've got these captain's chairs, which have armrests that come down on either side, which are very useful for when you're doing long motorway drives. But it's this high elevated driving position that makes all the difference. It gives you really great visibility over all the cars. You can see everything that's going on. You've got only a very narrow A-pillar. The only thing is you do have limited rear visibility because obviously you've got all the stuff going on in the back of the car, but it does come with a very detailed roof mounted reversing camera, which will show you here on the infotainment system. So as you can see, as soon as you engage reverse, the parking sensors come on and it gives you this very detailed view of what's going on right behind you. It is quite high and it doesn't give you a great idea of the width, but as you can see, you have these 2 green lines which show you the width of the car's wheel tracks. So you can see exactly, if you can get it in between that space, you're going to be fine. But it is nice having such a big overview so you can see right down to the very bottom of the Grand California. It gives you a pretty good detail, and even at night it's not that bad. So the steering wheel itself, it's pretty much what you're going to have in the likes of a Golf or Passat. It's small, it's leather clad, it's quite nice to use, and you've all the multifunction controls here. So you've got your volume controls on the left and your cruise control functions here also on the left hand side, while here you've got options to skip between music tracks and activate the voice control, and you can also change through the onboard computer settings, which is the central display in between the tacho and the speedometer. It gives you all the sort of things you're going to probably want to know when you're on the move. It goes through, so you've got all your different audio functions. You can scroll through your telephone that you have paired and vehicle status. You've still got the infotainment system here as well. It's quite a good size, it's clear, it's easy to use. You've got all the various functionality here. You can connect it to Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, so you can mirror your you can mirror your smartphone onto the screen here and use all your phone controls. You've got navigation, traffic updates. You can also load in media if you want to have your own media uploaded to it as well. So you've pretty much got everything you're going to want to have in a modern infotainment system. As for the other main controls here, so you've got your air conditioning and climate controls here, both heated seats, so you can have heated seats up front. You can turn off the adaptive, so you can turn off the automatic stop start. You've got a heated steering wheel function on this. You also have, just hidden behind here, the gear lever is a step function, so Normally when you close the side door, that side step automatically retracts, but you can leave it out all the time if you so wish, if you're camping or you just want to always have access to it. But obviously anytime you start to drive the car, it would automatically retract for safety reasons. One other useful feature of this is the handbrake. When you activate it, it automatically folds flat down, which makes it much easier for spinning the seats around. So even when the handbrake is activated, it sits down flat and it doesn't get in the way. And you've got quite a lot of room between the front seats, so it's very easy to go up and walk through into the rear of the cabin. So as you can see, there's a bit of a step up into the Grand California, but getting in and out's pretty easy. And there's also a useful handle here on the side. Also, coming from its crafter origins, there is a lot of storage throughout. So starting with the doors, you've got extra very easy to reach sections here, great for putting coins or your wallet in. You've got a deeper section below here, you can put all your stuff in there. There's also a cup holder just here, and handy place for putting any change. You've also got a 12-volt socket here, another cup holder on top, and then all along the top of the dashboard you have various different compartments for literally maps, any odds and ends. There is also a USB charge ports here as well, so very easy to stick in your device, have it charging there. There's another 12-volt socket on that side, a top cup holder, another cup holder, same deal with the storage in the doors there, and also this additional shelf that sits above the glove box. You've got a lower section in here, again a bit more space. This is quite handy for dropping in a smartphone if you want to leave it in there. It's got a cigarette lighter or a 12-volt socket as well, so again you've no shortage of power sources. There's also quite a big glove box in here, has a little light in it. You've got SD1, SD2 cards in there. It's also got a cooling vent, so you can keep things a little bit chilled in here. Wouldn't say it's a cold box, but it'll keep things cool. There's also the controls for turning off the front passenger airbag, and it's also lockable, which is handy. So you've got a lock there, so that's useful if you did want to leave some valuables and keep them locked away. Now when you open the side door, there is a handy step which automatically comes out. This is quite useful, makes it very easy for getting in and out, and it's got some very high grip fabric on it as well, so even if it's wet you shouldn't find any issue getting in and out. As you can see, you've got no problem with headroom. When you walk in, first of all, you have your normal rear seats are here, 2 seat belts there, and then this is the main feature, which is separates it from the usual California, and that it's got a shower and a toilet facility built in. Features a 110 litre fresh water tank which you can fill from the outside, and there's also a 90 litre runoff tank for your grey water which you can then empty at a campsite. I'm going to show you a few of the other features now, including the upstairs bed and the rear bed. So as you can see, there's plenty of headroom when you're walking around and standing up inside the back of the Grand California. Also, there's a lot of bright surfaces, and you've got 2 large skylights that let plenty of light in. You can also open those up, and they have pullover blinds for when you're trying to get some sleep at night. Speaking of sleep, at the back there's a large bed that will pretty much sleep 2 adults quite comfortably. It sits on a fold-down basically like a hard mattress that you can see. This is just a table and chairs for having picnics that's just simply strapped down there while we're driving. Now, if you don't want to have this set up, you can fold this up out of the way and then lift this up, and with these extra straps you can strap it down. There's another strap that comes up from here, and you can strap them into place, and that gives you plenty of room to walk all the way through. You can set up this space and use it for your luggage, So if you're going to have extra bags or you're going to be away for a long time, you can set up your luggage in here, and then you have additional storage compartments in here. Some for luggage, but you also have, this is where you'll put in your gas bottles for your heating and for your cooking. Also back here, you've got a small little additional shower head that you can use more or less if you just want to clean sand off your feet, or you want to hose down a mountain bike, for example. You can use that as opposed to the actual walk-in shower, which we'll show you in a moment. There's this quite nice wooden floor inside as well, so just adds a bit more of a nice finished look to the whole thing. There is 2 additional power sockets in the rear here, so if you do want to plug in anything with a sort of, they come with a European plug, you can use those. And as you can see in the back of the doors here is storage for the 2 picnic chairs that you get that go with the table, which we have, as I mentioned, strapped down. Now, storage is one of the big features of the Grand California, and as I come back up, as you can see here, all around here you've got extra storage bins which all open up. They're not all massively deep, but they're quite useful for adding in or putting away any of those odds and ends. It's really nicely designed, and how it all works, it all feels quite solid and well put together. And as you can see along the top, you have ambient lighting built all the way in. This is by far the biggest feature of the Grand California. It's the fact that it has its own shower and bathroom, and it makes so much difference when you're going to be out, perhaps not on a campsite where you have facilities. So as you can see, you've got hot shower and a shower head just up the top here. There's also an additional skylight that you could open to let all the steam out. You've got loads of shelving here for putting all your shampoos and all your bathroom stuff there. There's even 4 little hooks there on the side for hanging up your towel on. There's also a sink. So as you can see, you can pop down this sink if you just want to be brushing your teeth or doing your makeup, or as you can see here, this mirror swivels both ways, so you can have it facing whichever way you want. And then obviously when you're having a shower, you can just pop that sink up out of the way. The toilet there, again, doesn't take up that much space, and that connects straight to a chemical toilet tank that you would typically find in most camper vans. There's also a useful control panel for controlling all the interior features of the Grand California. As you can see here, you've got a water tank meter, so it will show you exactly how much water or grey water you've got left. Lets you know when you need to empty the tanks. The onboard battery is different to the battery that powers the engine or is used for the starter. It's a separate battery, and again, that gets replenished as you're driving. You can obviously still plug it into a mains if you're staying at a campsite. That's not an issue. You've got your different lighting settings, temperature settings, so you can set up the heating system, which we'll show you in a moment, and you can also turn that on to a timer setting too. It's quite useful. It's very user-friendly, very intuitive to use. Now there's also all the kitchen facilities that you're probably going to want to have going on a mini adventure. So what you have here is 2 cooking hobs, which are connected up to a gas supply. Very easy to use, very simple. A big benefit of having this where it is in the Grand California is, unlike the smaller California, it's on the opposite side. These are right beside the main door. So if you are going to be cooking something, any of the smoke and any of the smells and all that are going to probably go straight outside. It does make it a little bit easier. Next to that, you've got a sink with a little tap function here. You've got hot and cold water again. You can set all that up to have it on a timer, be ready to go, and that just drains into your grey water tank. Then when you don't need them, you can just pop that down. You've got a little work surface here. There's also an additional little side bar that you can pull out. There's plenty of storage as well, so you've got these shelves in here if you want to put your cutlery in here, and all these added storage bins, and they all have these quite nice little press buttons to open and close them all. As you can see, there's a good bit of room, plenty of space to separate different items. There is also a nice big fridge unit situated here at the end. So you can just pop this in and it just comes straight out. There's also a small freezer unit in the top and even LED lights, so you can actually see what you're getting when you need to get a drink out at night. Obviously, for after you've cooked up your dinner, you want to sit down and have it. So it's very easy to turn these front seats around like so, and then you can set up a dinner table in between them. And this is your dining setup with everything in place. Usefully, the table sits into this groove that sits along the side, so you can actually lift it up and slide it to exactly where you want it. That's kind of useful if you're going to have little kids, for example. In the smaller seats, you can lift it up and move it a little bit closer, so it's easier for them to have their dinner. In addition to that bed at the back, there's a second upstairs bed here, which is very simple. Just undo the safety clip and it slides down and locks in place. As it comes down, there's two extra latches that come down on this side to keep it secure. And then this extra little part of the mattress follows out here. As you can see, it goes quite far back. It goes into that big recess in the roof, and you've even got an additional safety net that you can set up here, so you can have your different phone or have any of your devices there. Usefully, there's a light just on this side here, and there's also two extra charge ports in there, so it's quite handy. Now, getting up to it, Volkswagen have thought about that, and they do also provide you with this handy pop-out ladder, which just sits on here, and there you go. Handy steps. They're not very big. They've all got very hard wearing, grippy, non-slip surface on them too. And as I mentioned earlier, with that big sunlight, there's a blind on it. You can put it over and have it nice and dark at night to help you sleep. In Ireland, the price for the Volkswagen Grand California starts at €77,600. So it's definitely a luxury. But if you're really into your camper vans, you like going on adventures, maybe you're into extreme sports and you like the outdoors, and you want a camper van that you can walk in and buy, is designed in the factory, very well put together, and has effectively everything you're ever going to want to have, yes, it does make sense. But you're going to have to be the ones to decide on that. Let us know what you think about it. Get involved in the comments below. Is this the right way to go, or are you better off getting an older van and doing a conversion yourself? If you want to know more about the Volkswagen Grand California and the smaller California and some of the rivals, head over to CompleteCar.ie. We have reviews of them all, including specs and prices. In the meantime, let us know what you think below, and remember, please subscribe to the Complete Car YouTube channel.